السلام عليكم. ممكن اتاكد ان انتوا سامعيني؟
محمد انا سامعك.
طيب تمام، والصوت كويس صح كده؟
صح.
طيب الحمد لله. مازن،
سامعينك
انتوا
كويس يا
سامعيننا في
باشمهندس.
اسكندريه؟ تمام. طيب في البدايه انا حابب ارحب بيكم في الميتنج بتاعنا النهارده، اللي ان شاء الله هيكون بعنوان Accelerate your designs with CAD and PLM. النهارده هيكون عندنا very special speaker. هيكون معانا صالح علي، واللي احنا بقالنا اعتقد لو انا فاكر صح بقالنا حوالي 4 شهور بنحاول ننسق ميعاد مظبوط للميتنج ده، ولكن الانشغال وحاجات كتيره جدا فايه الحمد لله ان احنا عرفنا نعملها النهارده. طبعا انا مش يعني حاولت كتير ان انا اقدم او افكر ازاي انا ممكن اقدم المهندس صالح في ميتنج النهارده، بس ما لقيتش حاجه ممكن تكون افضل من ده غير ان احنا نشوف مع بعض ان احنا النهارده هيكون معانا حد من الناس اللي كانت في المين ستيج الخاص ب ال 3 دي اكسبيرينس وورلد 2024. انا هسيب بقيه الانترودكشن عنه، هو هيقدر يعملها احسن مني، بس احنا النهارده بنتعلم من حد من الاندستري ليدرز اللي موجودين في العالم، واللي فعلا حد ممكن يكون من الناس القليله جدا اللي موجوده عندها الاكسبيرينس والخبرات دي. في البدايه احنا موجودين فين؟ احنا في السواجن او السوليد ووركس يوزر جروب نتورك. للناس اللي ممكن تكون النهارده اول مره بتحضر معانا، فسواجن او اليوزر جروب نتورك هي بشكل اساسي حاجه موجوده علشان تقدر تخلينا كلنا كمستخدمين لسوليد ووركس نقدر ان احنا يبقى في نتوركينج بيحصل ما بيننا، نقدر تامباور اي حد بيستخدم البرنامج ده، نقدر ان احنا نكولابريت او نتعلم مع بعض او ان احنا نعلم حتى بعض. تقدر تتواصل معانا في اي وقت وفي اي مكان وفي اي وعن طريق اي ديفايس. ويقدر ان انت قاعد دلوقتي معانا فيزيكالي في اسكندريه، انا عارف ان في تقريبا اكتر من 35 شخص وصلوا في اسكندريه، او انك انت قاعد معانا في القاهره، او حتى في اي حته موجوده في اكتر من اعتقد 12 او 15 شخص موجودين على زوم من اماكن مختلفه. تقدر انك انت تتواصل معانا في اي وقت، تقدر انك انت يبقى عندك in depth technical conversations face to face networking. والتكنيكال conversations دي ممكن تكون انت في ناس بتسافر لها اماكن كتيره عشان تقدر تاخد المعلومات دي او النولج دي. فدي طبعا حاجه من الحاجات او الهدف الرئيسي اليوزر جروب نتوركس. في البدايه انا اسمي محمد حسين، مهندس ميكانيكا دفعه 2014. عملت MBA في 2017، اخذت الماجستير الخاص بالميكانيكال ديزاين في 2021. CSWE يوزر جروب ليدر، سوليد ووركس تشامبيون، سيرتيفايد يو تي، اديت اكتر من قبل كده اكتر من 85 تريننج كورسز. الرقم ده مش ابديتد، محتاج ان يتعمل له ابديت، لان انا كنت 4 سنين بدرس في الجامعه. حاليا انا شغال كديزاين انجينير في واحده من اكبر الشركات الخاصه بالتصميم في، خلينا نقول مش في مصر بس دلوقتي، ومش في الميدل ايست، انما من اكبر الكيانات الانجينيرنج اللي موجوده في السويدي الكتريك فور باور سيستم بروجكتس. ايه الجديد اللي احنا بس عايزين نهايلايت عليه؟ اول حاجه ان احنا بنموف من ميت اب بقالنا يمكن اكتر من 3 سنين هو المين بلاتفورم بتاعتنا، ولكن هو خلاص بدايه من بالنسبه لنا اتليست للجروبس بتاعتنا بدايه من شهر 10 خلاص مش هيكون موجود الميت اب بتاعنا. انما هيكون عندنا حاجات كتيره تانية ممكن انك انت تتواصل معانا فيها بشكل اساسي لينكد ان، وده انا شايف ان بقى فيه تفاعل بشكل كبير على البيج بتاعته. الحمد لله هيكون كمان او اوريدي بالفعل موجود واتساب جروب عليه اكتر حاليا من 400 شخص، وعندنا انستجرام كمان تقدر انك انت تقدر تتواصل معانا باي حاجه من الحاجات دي. في البدايه خالص انا هستاذنكم من اي حد من الناس اللي حاضره معانا، سواء دي اول مره بتحضر معانا او انك انت حضرت معانا قبل كده، هحتاج منك انك تعمل سكان للكيو ار كود اللي موجوده على ايدك الشمال، علشان تقدر تريجستر البوينتس بتاعتك والحضور بتاعك في الجروب بتاعنا. هسيب ده موجود معانا على السكرين يعني نص دقيقه كده، علشان بس نتاكد ان كل الناس وصل لها ده. وكمان هتلاقي اللينك بتاعه عشان اي حد ممكن هيجوين بعد كده، اللينك بتاعه هنعمل له بيست في الجروب شات علشان يفضل موجود معانا بعد كده. ما تنساش كمان انك انت لو اخدت سيرتيفيكت جديده، انك انت تقدر تعمل لها سبمشن وتقول لنا انك انت لسه واخد سيرتيفيكت جديده عن طريق برضه الكيو ار كود التاني اللي موجود فيه على ايدك اليمين. اناونسمنت مهم جدا عايز اقول لكم عليه، ان الناس اللي كانت حاضره معانا الايفنتس اللي فاتت اللي كانت في شهر 7 اللي كانت خاصه بالسوليد وورك سيرتيفيكيشن، فانا احب اقول لكم من كل الناس اللي كان ليها السي اس دبليو اي والسي اس دبليو اي سيميوليشن وكمان السي اس دبليو بي فور سيرفيسنج، الاكسس بتاعها بقى اتفتح بدايه من النهارده للسيرفيسنج. والناس بس كان في شخص عنده مشكله في السي اس دبليو اي برضه تفتح له من النهارده، وهيفضل متاح لمدة شهر فقط. تقدر انك انت تفتح الايميل بتاعك، تقدر تدخل الامتحان الخاص بيه. حبيت كمان انك انت تجوين اي حاجه من الانستجرام، واتساب، لينكد ان، يوتيوب، تقدر تجوين من على اي حاجه من دول. السيشن بتاعت النهارده ريكوردد، تقدر تشوفها بعد كده، هتترفع على اليوتيوب. ممكن تاخد وقت معانا يوصل لاسبوعين، ولكن هتلاقيها ريكوردد موجوده على اليوتيوب بعد كده. الحاجه قبل الاخيره اللي عايز هايلايت عنها، ان انت لو انت شايف انك انت في برزنتيشن معينه او في نوليدج معينه انت عايز انك انت تشير ده مع الجروبس بتاعتنا، ففيل فري انك انت تسبميت الابستراكت الخاص بالشغل بتاعك او بالسيشن اللي انت حابب انك انت تقدمها. وتقدر بعد ما بتعدي على تكنيكال ايفالويشن عندنا، تقدر انك انت بعدها تشير ده. وحتى لو هي محتاجه تعديل او محتاجه حاجه معينه، هتلاقي ان احنا هنتواصل معاك ونقول لك لا انت ممكن تظبط الحاجه الفلانيه، وانك انت تجوين از بريزنتر هنا. طبعا حابب افكر الناس كلها بموضوع السكورنج سيستم، وده الحاجه الخاصه بالسواجن اللي موجوده في مصر فقط. ان انت دلوقتي تقدر انك انت بتاخد بوينتس معينه من حضورك للايفنتس، او انك تصمت ابستراكت او الابستراكت ده يتقبل، انك تحضر الايفنتس بتاعتنا ان رو او تحضرها اصلا، انك تبدا او تشير ابديت لينا سواء ده على لينكد ان او على فيسبوك، او تنفايت نيو ممبرز تورجنايز الايفنتس، او تسبمت سيشن او ايفنت فيدباك، او انك تاخد سيرتيفيكت جديده. ولو انت اوريدي معاك سي اس دبليو اي او بي او اي، كل ده بتاخد ليه بوينتس معينه. البوينتس دي بعد كده هتلاقي ان انت بتطلع فيها بجريدز معينه للممبرشيب دي. بتبدا بنيو، بعد كده في جولد، وبعد كده بورد. في ثلاثه فقط هم اللي بورد في الوقت الحالي، والباقي ممكن يكون في منهم وصل للجولد ده. تقدر انك انت تكتشف ده كل سيشن، سواء انت في القاهره معانا دلوقتي او في اسكندريه، تقدر انك انت تشوف انت فين بالظبط من الجزء ده. وفي نهايه كل سنه بيكون في ان شاء الله ميجا ايفنت بيحصل في مصر، هتبدا انك انت تشوف فيه نتائج السكورنج سيستم ده، وانت ازاي هتستفيد بيه بشكل اكبر كبير جدا ان شاء الله. دي كده كانت الانترودكشن النهارده. لو اكيد انتم مش جايين علشان تسمعوني، ولكن بحب ان احنا نقولها علشان بالتاكيد كل مره بيكون في ناس معانا جديده، ولكن مش هياخد وقت اكتر من كده. وهبدا دلوقتي انا اعمل ميوت، والمهندس صالح هيبدا اللي هو يعني يتفضل مشكورا يبدا معانا البرزنتيشن.
أنا صوتي مسموع محمد؟
مسموع كويس جدا.
شكرا جزيلا. شكرا على الاستضافة. أتصور دي هي المرة الأولى لي في أقدم presentation مع ألكسندريا سواجن جروب. طبعا شكرا جزيلا على التقديم تبعي. I think you gave me more than I deserve.
ده اقل بكتير كمان.
قبل ما ابدي بالبرزنتيشن احب ارحب بالجميع. شكرا على الحضور. انا تكلمت مع محمد. فهمت بانه إذا في سؤال عندكم بالعربي، أنا يعني اسأل بالعربي، لا تكون محرج بأنه تسأل بالإنجليزي. راح أحاول بأنه أجاوب قدر المستطاع بالعربي، بس معظم البرزنتيشن راح تكون مقدمة بالإنجليزي. أنا explain to محمد يعني بالبداية بأنه أنا مو ما أعرف أتكلم العربي أو أتكلم اللهجة المصرية، بس أكو مصطلحات هندسية من الصعب بأنه تترجم إلى اللغة العربية، فأفضل بأنه أتكلم بالإنجليزي. وأتصور يعني المعظم راح يكون be able to understand it، لأنه هي مصطلحات من داخل التطبيق اللي هو سوليد وركس، فالمعظم اتصور راح يكون على درايه و familiar with المصطلحات. راح ابدي انا اقدم share my screen. اي شاشه شايف محمد؟
انا كده شايف
سلايد
السلايد، المين هما كانوا
مين.
شاشتين. اه
اوكي let me
يعني
see.
شير كده طيب، وانا كده تمام.
تمام اوكي. all right. So as Muhammad mentioned at the beginning, the presentation today is going to be on accelerate designs with CAD and PLM. For those who are not familiar with PLM, PLM is the acronym for product life cycle management. The product life cycle management, most of you guys probably familiar with CAD. CAD is a computer-aided design, which is SolidWorks basically. The PLM, it's a combination or هي خليط بين ال PDM, which is a product data management, and product life cycle management. Product life cycle management أتصور الاسم, the name by itself explain the meaning. فأي منتج أنت عندك عنده يبدي من الولادة or like the inception till the obsolescence or what they call it like the release. it's دورة حياة المنتج. That's what it means by product life cycle management. Introduction of myself. أنا اسمي صالح العاني. مسؤول عن product manager for the 3D Experience SolidWorks and SolidWorks. 3D Experience SolidWorks, by the way, is going to be the topic or the المحور الموضوع مالتنا اليوم 3D Experience SolidWorks. أنا مسؤول عن إدارة البرودكت 3D Experience SolidWorks and go to market activity and with SolidWorks company. So to give a little bit of introduction about myself, I'm a graduate from Northeastern University in Boston with Master in Mechanical Engineering. I started my career with SolidWorks back in 2013. Back then I was a technical support, يعني خدمة العملاء والزبائن. My focus was purely on CAD. It was about like 6 years I spent it with working as a support for SolidWorks. And in 2020, this is when I moved to the more on the business side or like, marketing and product management. That was back around COVID time, 2020. My focus was on basically the platform, and I'm still basically focusing on the platform. But now my focus on 3D Experience SolidWorks and SolidWorks Cloud. If you guys are familiar with the cloud, when you hear the term 3D Creator, X Design, X Shape, those are the cloud product. So the takeaways or like الشيء اللي يريد الحاضرين بأنه يستفادوا من عنده اليوم. How you can continue using SolidWorks that most of you guys know SolidWorks. So the idea here is a 3D Experience SolidWorks is not a separate product. It's something that you see has an addition to what you know with CAD. So you continue using SolidWorks that you know and you love, but with more efficient design process. Second thing is like, I hope you can understand like how you can easily manage your data, البيانات مالتك تبعك, whether it's a CAD, whether it's anything else on the 3D Experience platform. And تتعلم شيء بسيط عن how you can collaborate and learn how you can do design review. Design review, whether you are a designer or someone who does not even has to do with design. And finally, and the big important part is I need to make sure that everyone remembers that it's all about the power of collaboration with the stakeholders or جميع الفريق العمل اللي عندك في الشركة, whether they are part of your organization internally or externally. So the one thing that I would like to start with is we all know design, we all know CAD. Most of you, like whether you are in the school or like in a professional, you know SolidWorks, how you use the design itself. But the main challenge with developing product is not only the CAD itself. There are so many different things. It caused like some challenges during like when you're working on a product design. أول شيء هو the first thing in my view and from the market and from the survey that we get from all over the places and like from people we work with, it's the lack of collaboration on CAD design. And I think if I ask everyone here today, when you design a 3D model, the first thing that you basically start looking for to put in the name, it's like you put a very specific or like meaningful name and you put it on your desktop. If I ask everyone, is like, when you're trying to look for that one, did I put it on folder A, folder B? Did I put it on Google Drive? Where did is this the last version? Did I create a new one? So this caused a lot of confusion when you collaborate with people and designers. Like, you're always going to have to look for something and you don't remember even where did you put it. So lack of collaboration is always going to be a big hurdle for every engineers, Of course, there are so many different tools today, and that's what the part of the platform try to give you one-stop shop and a single source of truth for everything that you need to do as a company, whether you're a designer, whether you're marketing, في التسويق أو في different department in the organization. Real-time access to your data, that's also another challenge when you do not have the most updated and the real-time data. And connectivities. Sometimes when you work in a big organization, you might have a specific VPN or your specific server, and that connectivity sometimes can have a limitation when you are not on the network. And that's what 3D Experience platform is for. It's a cloud base that anyone from anywhere, you can log in and access the data. Working on the correct version that I mentioned before, it's like you need to know that you are working on the current or the latest data that you would like to continue working, not the old one, not like something that you created 3 months ago. You need to make sure that you're working on the current or the correct version. And there are so many other things that we probably cannot talk about it here today. So what does that cause? It will cause a real headache. You start basically losing time and bring the productivity level down, and sometimes that impact the time to market and the production, and then the design by itself. So with that, this is what we're going to be talking about, is the 3D Experience SolidWorks. 3D Experience SolidWorks is, first of all, it's a best-in-class CAD tool. What I call it, in addition to SolidWorks, there are plus that we add. الإضافة هي شنو هي؟ Data management on the cloud, product lifecycle management on the cloud, in addition to the collaboration. That's what we're going to see in the next probably 30 minutes or 45 minutes. Another thing that we're probably not going to be talking about right now, but what I want to explain, the 3D Experience platform, it's the CAD portion of it, connect you to the 3D Experience platform, but that opens the door to expand and scale your product development, because the 3D Experience platform is not just, it's not just about a CAD. There are so many different solutions on the platform. So it opens the door to advanced CAD capability. You want to do simulation, you want to do manufacturing and rendering. And if you see in this picture, what I trying to show here, you start with a CAD. And once you're CAD on the platform, it will be in the entire ecosystem of Dassault System and 3D Experience platform to leverage all the tools there. As I said, if you have manufacturing, simulation, system engineering, and things like that, it's all going to be native, or the model is going to be there. It can be understood by every single application on the platform. Today in this presentation, what I'm going to show, we're going to basically live in, like, we live in a shoes, or like we try to mimic the environment of a company. And I wanted to basically put a diagram or workflow what's going to be. So we have people internally collaborating, and there is some external collaboration خارج organization, and they all work together to design this. Most of you guys probably see that model, which is a miter saw. So with that, we can start. So first thing first, when it comes to 3D Experience SolidWorks, what the beauty of it, it's like the simplify or the quick onboarding. Today, if أنا الادmin تبع الكمباني, all what I need to do, I know that Debbie is a designer here. I can assign the 3D Experience SolidWorks, 3D Experience SolidWorks role. All what she can do, she can install it directly from the platform, and she can start working. In addition to that, from the platform, you have access to all the basic information, like to learn how to use the platform, how to use SolidWorks. And also you can ask questions directly from there by using the communities. So to see this, so this is like quick example. So Debbie, for example, go to the Compass. She can access what we call the Welcome app. A Welcome app here, تطبيق الترحيب, that gives you everything in there. So you can see by simply open the Welcome app, you will see the entire information. You have the Learning Center. You have a quick welcome tour that you can navigate through to understand like what is the platform, most of the things that you need to do in order to start your work. After that, you can just simply click on the install, and that install خليك بأنه تنصب البرنامج directly or SolidWorks directly on your machine. It's a very simple installation. If you guys have run the install before on desktop, you will, when you use this one, you will see how simplified this experience is today. So once the SolidWorks is installed, you can just simply click on the open button, and you will open the SolidWorks session. One thing I would like to note, you can open it from the platform, but at the same time, there will be a shortcut on your desktop where you can actually run and start SolidWorks, 3D Experience SolidWorks or SolidWorks connected application on your machine. So first thing, I explain here how you start by installing the product. Now, next step is, now you have SolidWorks, now you need to start saving your data. Today, most of the, majority of the, workflow that you can save your stuff locally. But again, when you save stuff locally, it's not available for everyone in your organization. The first thing first is with the platform, you can start working on your design. You can have everything locally, but as soon as you're ready, you can push and save your data to the cloud so everyone would be able to access them. So in SolidWorks, inside SolidWorks that you're familiar with, there is on the left-hand side, there is something called Design Tree, Feature Manager Design Tree, which I think most of you are familiar with. In there is an addition to the regular SolidWorks Feature Manager Design Tree. There is a line on, as you can see here. This will give you the status of the file that you see if it's not available on the cloud. As you can see here, I highlighted this. There is an orange floppy disk, old floppy disk, give you the indication that the file has not been yet saved to the 3D Experience platform. As soon as you're ready, as I said, there's an option for you to click and save. So there's a save to the local disk, but also there is a save to the 3D Experience platform. And that's what gives you the ability to push your data to the cloud where everyone have real-time access to the data. By the way, if you have any question throughout my presentation, please feel free to stop me and ask. Let's make it interactive, collaborative. Don't worry. If you want to leave your question to the end, that's fine. But if you have any question, feel free to unmute yourself, ask the question. If there is some translation, Muhammad would help me with that, or you can leave it in the chat. So you save your data to the cloud, and everyone would be available to access that data. In addition to that, when the data is saved to the platform, everyone is going to be able to use it. You can see here in this screenshot, you will see you can see that what is the last revision. Revision is something that we're going to talk about as well, like the concept of revision. You will see if this is a last revision. You can see the revision number. You can see the status if it's locked or unlocked. So something that you قفلت الفile or it's released for everyone to use. And also you can see what is the status of the data? Is it saved to the cloud or not saved? And also inside SolidWorks, there is a little bit of a cloud icon that can show you what is the top level assembly right now. Is it offline? Is it off, or it's on the cloud? So one thing I would like to mention about revision. Revision today, so تخيل بأنك تصمم صندوق. فالصندوق الأول في ما في داخله hole. That's going to be your first design. It's a first revision أو التنقيح الأول، أول تنقيح، أول نسخة. لما تغير بالتصميم تريد تغير الاسم تبع الفايل حتى تفرق بين الأول والثاني. هاي العملية اللي احنا نسويها معظم الأحوال. On the platform, it's not needed. Rather than creating multiple versions of the same file with a different name, the revision is a mechanism حتى instead of saving over it, you create a revision, so you will have ترجع بالتاريخ بالزمن. يعني سويت الجزء الأول ببوكس كامل، الجزء الثاني صندوق مع هول داخله، راح يصير version A and revision A.1 and revision A.2, which is 2. That's just a simple explanation what revision is for those who do not know what revision is. Now let's see how this works. So Debbie, always she's going to start just like any SolidWorks product. You can open from the 3D Experience platform, which is not yet because we haven't saved it. I have my project locally today on my machine. I can open SolidWorks. As soon as SolidWorks open, I can start using SolidWorks exactly the same way I use it, today, and the familiar thing. I can see from that window, as I showed, the status of the file. You can see here, everything is not saved yet to the 3D Experience platform. Everything is still local to my machine. I have something called My Session, and you will see this. We're going to be using this a lot. My Session is the panel where you can see the status of your content on the platform. And for Toolbox component, it's always going to be released because Toolbox component usually is something that you do not modify. It's available to you that you can use in your product. Now I understood what is going on with the model. Just explain to you like this is the starting point. Now I can start, making some changes to the design before I save it to the platform. So in this case, there are some missing components or parts in my design. So there is the knob of the miter saw, and there is also the pin. So few simple operation here, just simply doing some mate operation in this workflow, and to complete my design. And after my design is complete and ready to go, I can go ahead and push my design to the 3D Experience platform. Why? So I can basically first make it available on the cloud and also make it available for everyone. So you can see here, I can click on the save to the 3D Experience platform. Once that completed, then your data, it's available on the cloud so everyone else can start using it. Once it's saved, you can see on the left-hand side, it went from the orange floppy disk icon to the green, because right now my data is synced to the platform and everyone can access it. After that, the designer, Debbie designer, let's say, started uploading everything to the platform. Now, if there is some modification, how does it start? Start with task from your, let's say, design lead. So let's say in this case, Petra is the design lead. She started by doing some assignment and task assignment to the design engineers. What she can do from the platform, she can identify and inspect the model first and see what is exactly going on with it. She can start doing some markup to mark the area where the changes is needed. And she can start opening a task and then edit and provide that task to the designer so they can start their work. So let's say Debbie is on the road today, and not Debbie, sorry, Petra manager, she's on the road today. She has no access to SolidWorks, but guess what? That's the beauty of the platform. She has access to a tablet. She doesn't need to do any specific design, but she can lead the people and give assignment to them. She can open the model because it's on the cloud, and she can use the tool called 3D Markup. 3D Markup here, she can start adding all the necessary modification or changes or تغيير في المنتج. she highlighted that there is extra ribs on that component needs to be added to strengthen the this area. So she can highlight here of what's needed to be done. So here she explained that needs to add extra ribs, and then she can start a task. Task is a muhimma to the engineer to explain to him what needs to be done. She can assign the user, and then she can add the markup she created in here. And here's the other beauty here. In addition to that, she can bring the design into the task. So the user, you will see in the next step, that he doesn't need to go and look for anything around the locally. He's going to go from the task and bring the design back to his SolidWorks application to continue the work. So now Petra did this, assigned the task. Now the other user would be able to see a notification and start the work. So one thing that I would like to mention here, although I specifically said the 3D Experience SolidWorks is available on the cloud, but in addition to that, it's available in offline mode. So today on desktop, you can use SolidWorks desktop whether you are online or offline. But for 3D Experience SolidWorks, since it's connected to the platform, it's an application that runs with the internet. But also we gave the ability, if there is no internet and you know that you're going to be travel, like today you guys came to the Alexandria or like the user group, you wanted to travel, and while you're traveling, you need to work offline. So you would be able to take the license offline and continue working offline. So what do you do first? Before you take the license offline, you need to make sure that if you're going to do some work on the design, you need to lock the component or the file that you're going to be working on so no one else can touch it. Because if you keep it unlocked, that means someone can modify it. But you need to make sure the file is locked to you so no one else can make it. And that's also another big important information that I would like to mention. When you work in a local or like file-based system, and if you both work on the same file, you're going to basically edit your own work because you have no ability to basically lock it. Now here on the platform, you can lock it and continue working. If someone else wants to use the same component, they cannot modify it, but they can create a different version or revision to continue working on. So you lock the component first, and then you go to take the license offline. As soon as you take the license offline, what happens is you can continue working and saving your information locally. And once you get back online, you will be able to sync your changes to the 3D Experience platform. So Debbie, at this point, she knows she's going to go on a trip. And before she goes on a trip, she knows that she's going to be working on that specific component in the design. What she does first, she goes and lock the file so no one else can access it and make change. And you can see here in the tree, it gives you like that miftah key symbols. That means it's locked for her own use. After that's done, she got all the information that she needs. She locked it. She can go and take the license offline. Right now, to take the license offline, you have from 1 to 30 days maximum to take your license offline. In this case, Debbie knows that she's going to go for 15 days, so she take it like for 2 weeks. اسبوعين. Now, Debbie is traveling and she's on the road. She wants to continue her work. That doesn't stop her from doing this. Since she's offline, she can tell that, by the way, there is like 25 days remaining to bring the license offline. She can go to her local file. She can open the design and she continue working on the design. In this case, if you remember what I did or what she did, she locked that component. And now she's going to make some edit, in this case, to that base, and she's going to probably change the number of stops, because this is a miter saw that actually turn left and turn like 360 degree, and she can actually modify how many stops that you can add to this base. Simple operation, cut here, and she can pattern that, and now her work is basically done. What she's going to do right now, she's going to save everything locally. right? Because she's still offline, so she can save locally. So now that is done, the assembly is also updating. She can go and save also the entire assembly on the local machine. So after that, the change is still on her machine, on her machine, and she, as I said, she would be able to sync the changes back to the 3D Experience platform whenever she becomes available. Now, Mark is the one who is going to work on the same data, but he's the one who is part of the participant or part of the team who works on the design. So he can collaborate in real time. How? If you remember, the manager assigned a task to him, and he's going to be the one who works on that. So what happened? He's going to be opening inside SolidWorks and see that information. He would be able to see what's in the task, and he can get access to the data by taking the data from the task into SolidWorks and start the work. He can make the changes, and he can push the changes back to the 3D Experience platform. So what can he see? Not only the design, he can see some important information. He can see, for example, that this file is locked. And who basically locked it? It's the Debbie designer, so he cannot make any changes. He can also, when he saved the data back to the 3D Experience platform, he would be able to save it to override, yani save on the top of it, or he can create a new revision that is separate from the first one. So let's see this. Mark, he goes to the 3D Experience platform. He has access from my session to the task. What he can see a task from Petra. Explain to him what he needs to do. He can go to the comment section, and he can see the information that is addressed to him. He can also see like what is the level of urgency here. He can view the markup to understand what he needs to do. So here he can see that there is an extra rib that needs to be added to this component. Now, what's the next step? He needs to get the access to the model. From the task, he can drag and drop the assembly inside SolidWorks and start making changes. So he needs to keep the manager updated so he can explain to the manager, Petra, that he will start the work. Since the task right now into what we call to-do list, he can probably move the task to in work so he can notify the manager that he started the work. So she knows that someone is working, is not like fooling around, right? So now what he's going to do, he's going to be working on a component here. First thing he's going to notice that this component cannot be touched because Debbie took that file before she went offline. So he's going to be working on that component. See, this is the beauty. Debbie works on something else. He works on the other, so they can all collaborate to make that final design. He's going to basically make the changes based on what Petra explained, which is add extra rib. He just made the changes. What he can do right now, he can save everything back again to the platform so everyone else can see the changes. So notice that when he's going to save the file, he will be presented with an option of what he needs to do. He can either save over the model, but he can also check this option to create new revision. So it does not override the previous changes. First thing first, he's going to have to lock because you cannot save to the platform before locking the model. So he can lock it, and optionally, he can check this option. Once the data is saved, he can release the lock from the file. So now he finished with making the change, saved the data back to the platform. Now he can proceed. Since he completed the task, he can just simply move that task to the completed section, and that means his work is done. So you notice here what he did. He was able to collaborate with. He can work on the design, but also he can collaborate with other design engineers. So now let's assume basically Debbie is back online. Now she wants to see the changes. She wants to push her changes back to the platform. What she can do, she can push the changes, as I said, from old to new. which is the thing before updated, and now she's going to push it to the platform with the new changes that she made offline. She can see if there is a previous revision that was there, so she can actually switch it back. And also she can also replace the revision that she has on the local machine with the version that Mark basically created on the platform. So let's see this. First, she needs to go back online. She can go back to the same option in here, the same button, click to bring the license online, because she wants to go back and sync her data back to the 3D Experience platform. So she can open the model, which is the main assembly in here. As soon as she opens the model, she can see that what changes happened ever since she went offline, right? So she can notify that, okay, she can click on that model that she has, and she can see that, by the way, this model is not in the latest revision, and it's also locked by Mark, right? What she can do, she can, if she wants the same revision on her end, she can just simply go and replace by revision. She clicks on the replace by revision, and she can see that it's only 2 revisions available, the existing one and the new one. Simply easy. Click on that option, and then component is replaced with the new revision. And now what happened? She can save the design back to the platform. So as you can see here, we always have the ability to push the changes to the platform so everyone have access to the latest and the greatest, data on the platform. Okay, let's move on. Now, when you share your design within SolidWorks, there is a process in here. So let's say you want to share your design directly from SolidWorks. There is a concept, and we talked about it. We are in 2023, for July, we released something called Share and Markup. This capability, Share and Markup, allows you to share your design outside of your network, and for people who just want to review it and provide some feedback without making any edit. And those people, that the person who receives the data does not need access to SolidWorks, does not need to be part of your platform, but would be able to provide you feedback to improve your design. So what do you do first? Before you basically send the data for review, you need to move and mature the status of the model from in-work to something else. You're going to see it's going to be to freeze, so you can freeze the design so no one make changes to it. Then inside SolidWorks, there's an option called Share a File, where you can actually share a copy of that file with a specific file format that only allows the user to preview the model, and make some markup that helps the designer to make changes. When you do that share, you would be able to enter an email address of the person with you add a message, and then you share the file with that user. So let's see how this works. The recipient receives the file. He can open the file in any device. In this case, I'm using my mobile phone. This is simply the mobile phone I have. I would be able to open the email address, and I can get to the model, because all what's going to be available to me is going to be a link that I can open it, log in with my 3D Experience ID, and I would be able to access the model, and I would be able to provide feedback to the designer. I can simply, interrogate the file. I can rotate it. I can do some measurement, and I can do some markup. And I can send a comment along with the markup to the designer. What happened to the designer? Designer receive a notification inside SolidWorks. Okay, they can click on the notification, and it opens that markup or the model inside SolidWorks, and they can see the information in there, and they can make the necessary changes. In this case, there will be they need to add another component that's missing from the design. So let's see how this works. So from my session, Debbie can click on the maturity and can freeze the design. Why we freeze it on Nujamid? Because we want to make sure no one makes any modification and changes the design. After design is frozen state, I can click on share a file. Okay. In this case, I'm sharing, as I said, this file not for someone to make edit to it or changes. I'm sharing it for someone who can just review it and provide feedback. You can see here, I can put the email address. I can explain and ask the user here of what they need to do. Okay. So Bill here receive a notification he's on the road. He would be able to open that notification inside his mobile phone. He can log in with his credential or 3D Experience ID, and you would be able to see the same model inside SolidWorks, but this is a lightweight version of the model where you can actually rotate the model, understand things. You can explode it, you can section it, you can get more detail without having to have any software. It's just a simple login. You get access to the 3D model on the browser, on your mobile phone, and any device that you have on the road. So here, explain to the designer what needs to change, like this miter saw needs to have like a different angle when you cut with it. And also, you notice that, by the way, there is a big component missing in here. So he can use the tool available to him with that 3D play to annotate or leave some comment on what is needed here. So in this case, he explained to the user that there is a motor needs to be added in here. Once this is done, he would be able to share not only that annotation, but he can also leave a comment to the user of what needs to be changed. In this case, say like, just see the attached markup for my feedback. So once he clicks on that submit button, the Debbie designer will get a notification inside SolidWorks that he can click on it and he can see the comment from Bill. And he can open that comment inside SolidWorks task pane. And you can see here, as soon as he clicks on the comment, he can see the information that he needs to change. But he can also cycle through every single annotation that you have. So he can understand that there is not only motors needs to be added, but also there is some alignment or changes needs to happen here. Okay. There's another thing that maybe it's not everyone used today, but it's important to highlight. So let's say that I'm working in 3D Experience SolidWorks, but I have a contractor who's going to take my design and make modification to it outside of the platform. So what we did, we need to make sure that even people on the desktop, they can have the opportunity to work with someone on 3D Experience SolidWorks. And this is what we call it, collaborate with supplier with SolidWorks user desktop. There is a specific workflow that we built inside 3D Experience SolidWorks to close that loop between SolidWorks on desktop user or 3D Experience SolidWorks. So what are you going to do in this process? The SolidWorks user from the platform would be able to select the data they want to share. They can export the data as a package. If you guys are familiar with the pack and go, this is something similar, but this package maintain all the PLM and the information that comes from the platform in that package. You can specify like if you want to give read or edit access to the data, and then you can share with the contractor. The contractor, which is on SolidWorks desktop, would be able to import the data and make changes and edit to it. And then after that, he can make the edit and send it back to the platform user so they can incorporate the changes. And this is how you sync the design back. So here we can see Debbie, what she's going to do, she's going to basically go to this subassembly component. Okay, she can go to the tool. There's an option called import or export. In this case, she wants to export this component as a package. She will be presented with an option where she can select which component specifically that requires an edit from the contractor, and everything else that doesn't need to be changed, she can keep it as a read-only so the contractor doesn't have to change. So basically there is a big level of security here we provide to the user to control what needs to be edited and what needs to be just read-only. So now I can specify where I need to save the data. In this case, I'm going to save it to the local disk as a package. Okay. And I can basically export it, and I can give a name to this package. In this case, it's going to be the head assembly, and then I can initiate the export. Okay. So what happens? SolidWorks desktop user receive this package. They can use this exchange package. If you need to get more information, let me know. This is like an add-in that we added to the SolidWorks desktop user, where you can import the package that comes from the platform. So the user on desktop, they're going to be able to see the metadata of the platform to know what they can make edit to. In this case, they would be able to insert like the missing component. In this case, if you remember, there is a big motor is missing. In the desktop user can go ahead and simply modify make the necessary changes to insert and mate the motor, and then after that they would be able to package everything back and send it to the 3D experience platform user. Okay, now all the changes done, all the necessary edit is done. Then we can see that every component, like the component that they make modification to, it's really identify here inside the panel. What's going to do right now, he's going to export the data back and then share it with the 3D Experience SolidWorks 3D Experience platform user. Okay, so now he's going to identify that this is a modified package. The 3D Experience platform user take that modified package that has the changes incorporated from the SolidWorks desktop user. He can simply go and include the package here and open it inside SolidWorks. And now this is the most important part. After the change happened, I would be able to push the changes that came from a desktop back to the 3D Experience platform and maintain all the revision and the metadata that's available on the platform. So here you can see which component got modified. So the user would know before they upload the stuff or save it into the platform, they understand what are the things that got changed, so they can make informed decision. So now they open the information inside SolidWorks, and they can go to my session. And the final step here in this workflow is to basically push the data back to the 3D Experience platform. So now they can see this information came from a supplier, imported from a package. The final step would be just to right click on the top level assembly and then save everything back to the 3D Experience platform. Same thing, before you save to the platform, you have the option to make your own decision, whether you want to save it as a new revision or you want to save over it. Here, I know the cover belt was modified a little bit, so I would like to create a specific revision. In this case, is going to be revision 2, and save everything back to the 3D Experience platform. Okay. Now we talked about in this workflow, we talked about like how you start from installation, how you save your data to the platform, how you collaborate internally, externally, and how you can collaborate with a supplier with a desktop application to make changes and incorporate the changes back to the Express platform. What is the final step? We need to create a drawing, because the drawing is the final contract that goes to the manufacturing. Okay, which is basically, I call it the release to the production. So what do you do first? Simply, you create an assembly from drawing, sorry, from the assembly. Then you freeze the drawing, and then here you can see, you can click on the freeze to freeze the drawing, and then you set the drawing for approval. You will see there is a process we have on 3D Experience platform to help the user to do a formal approval process, or what we call it drawing stamping. يعني تطبع بأنه who is going to be the one who وافق على release or تحرير الدrawing. Okay. What happened is you can actually set a sequential approval. First thing is supposed to be the engineering approval, الموافقة الهندسية. So what happened is the Petra is the manager, the engineer lead will have to approve the drawing for engineering. She can see the إشعار or notification from the designer that there is a طلب موافقة على engineering approval. She can view and then she can approve it. After she approved that, it goes to the manufacturing approval, which is the موافقة على التصنيع. You get notified and also can see here that engineering first approve it, because if it's not approved by engineering first, the manufacturing cannot approve it. Okay. And then he can approve it, and that will release the drawing to manufacturing, which is تحرير the drawing to manufacturing. So let's see this, how it happens. Inside SolidWorks, Debbie, the designer, she can start basically creating the drawing. Okay, it's a very simple operation, same thing. If you guys familiar with it, you start with the assembly, you put the المساقط الهندسية على drawing. In this case, I'm putting top view and taking some information about the section view if section view is needed. And also I can put the bill of material to explain what are the components that needs to be included there. Now I save the drawing to the 3D experience platform first, because I need to sync it to the platform so everyone would be able to access that information. Okay. So after I save the drawing on the 3D experience platform, then I can start the process of initiating the release drawing to production. So drawing is there. Now I'm going to go ahead and freeze the first the drawing, so I can start the release process. So I froze the drawing, and now I'm going to start creating something called route. Route معناه بالمسار, because we need to make sure there is a sequential in that approval. As I said, engineering, then manufacturing. So here I can set this route to be for approval. Okay. And I can assign task to each specific member that in charge of the approval process. First task, or المهمة الأولى, الهندسة الموافقة الهندسية. So in this case, I'm doing engineering approval. Okay. And then assign the user who's going to be doing the engineering approval. In this case, Petra Manager is the engineering approval. I apply this to this. And then the second task, or المهمة الثانية, is the manufacturing approval. So here I can specify the task called manufacturing approval. Okay. And I can assign who is the manufacturing technician who's going to be working on this. Mark is going to be the manufacturing approval. I apply it, and then I release the route. Okay. After that, there is something called change execution, because we are making change execution on the drawing release. I can create that change execution called Microsoft, for example, and I can add in that specific change action the route المسار that I just created. In this case is Microsoft approval. The last thing that I need to do is to include what I'm going to be approving, so I can just drag and drop the drawing inside the proposed change, and then I can start setting أنصب route to be approval. First, I set it to work, and then right now is going to go to these guys, to the engineering to approve it, and manufacturing. Petra Manager gets a notification of إشعار. Okay. She can drag and drop the drawing inside the 3D play. Okay. She can inspect everything is okay, everything is fine, there is no problem with the engineering drawing. Then she can go ahead and approve it. Okay. So here she can leave a comment saying that drawing is according to standard, and then she can approve it. That will send another notification to the manufacturer. Manufacturer can see the engineering approval is done, and he can see on the title block that Petra approved the drawing. Then the final step is what? He's supposed to either reject it or approve it. In this case, he's okay with everything, so he can approve for manufacturing. Once everything is done, that automatically release the drawing to production. So the engineering, you can see here, he did not have to do anything. He just sent it for approval, everything is done in the background. He can saw the notification that everything is done. He can open and check that everything is complete, meaning that the drawing is released, as you can see, is released. And when he opened it inside SolidWorks, he can see that it's released, the engineering approved it, and the manufacturer as well. And that basically become a production, and they can design that miter saw. So I know a lot of information here, but I want to show you like from end to end, how 3D Experience SolidWorks help a company to go from designing all the way to the production. So in summary, what did I talk about? Talked about like the simplify onboarding on 3D Experience platform, how you can save and sync your data to the 3D Experience platform, how you can use task management in here to assign it to the other users. You can take the license offline if needed, if you're gonna go on, if you travel, how you can do design change, and how you can acquire all the information, PLM or like data management insights within SolidWorks, how you can sync your changes back to the 3D Experience platform when you actually get back online, how can you share your data externally with someone who is not part of your network, doesn't need access to SolidWorks, but they can provide feedback to help improve your design, how you can do supplier collaboration between 3D Experience SolidWorks and someone who has SolidWorks but is still on desktop and would like to collaborate with a 3D Experience SolidWorks user. And finally, how you can release product to production using the sequential approval for managerial approval and manufacturer to release the drawing to production. This is all what I wanted to talk about today. I wish make sure to subscribe to theswim.3ds.com, which is our community that everyone can get access to it. You just, by the way, you need to simply create a 3D Experience ID if you don't to access that community. شكرا على وقتكم بأن حضرتوا هاي presentation, and I would like to stay in touch and connected with you guys. This is my LinkedIn. If you guys don't know my information, it's available here on the screen. I'm going to leave it for a few times here if you want to guys take some screenshot. But you can search for my name. You can find me on LinkedIn. And it's time to take any question that you might have. Sorry, Mohammed, do you have something to say?
لا كنت بقول ان كمان I will copy and paste your LinkedIn profile link in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Anyone who has any question, please don't feel shy. Just come off mute. And if you want to ask the question in Arabic and in English, if you want to leave it in the chat, anything that was, I know it's a lot of information, but I wanted to leave nothing, on the table without explaining. So that's why I wanted to show you like the end to end. And I'm happy to have to do probably another session that with a smaller portion that explain every single detail in so to explain like what is basic, because it's, as I said, it's a lot of information. It's from end to end process using 3D Experience SolidWorks.
Right. Yes, we have a question here.
Yeah.
Abdul Alani.
Hello, Mr. Saleh.
اهلا وسهلا. من معايا؟
معاك عبد العزيز. كنت
عبد العزيز.
بسأل بس سؤال بالنسبة لو أنا مثلا عامل كام بروجرام على السوليد كام. لو فرضنا إن إحنا مثلا في ورك شوب، ففي ديزاينر وفي طبعا كام بروجرامر، فعملوا على السوليد كام، هل بيمشي عليه نفس البروسيدور اللي إحنا بنمشيها على الدروينج أو كده؟ فهو يقدر ياخد ابروفال من بعد كده مثلا الاوبريتور لو شايفه ان في اي حاجه مثلا اي تعديل اي تاكيد يعني على البرنامج، ويبقى في كونكشن ما بينهم.
هو في بالنسبه انت كيف تستخدم SolidWorks CAM today? يستخدم the add-in right inside SolidWorks CAM to work with desktop, right?
بالظبط.
ما في العمل الwork flow is still the same. ما في شيء تغير. The only difference is here if you want to have a collab، يعني لما تريد تتعاون مع الCAM programmer, they need to be on the platform in order to collaborate. ما في شيء تغير. That's what I'm trying to explain from the beginning. 3D Experience SolidWorks, by the way, it's the same exact SolidWorks, but it has the addition of the platform component. It's still the same process. Nothing really changed. You can still collaborate with the CAM programmer وتسوي تعديل على الشيء نفس الطريقة اللي تسويها اليوم مع الديسكتوب.
شكرا لحضرتك جدا. شكرا.
عفوا.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام مازن.
ممكن اسال سؤال بس، هو بعد كده بعد ما بعدي مرحله البي دي ام تمام، هل ممكن ادخل في مرحله الريندرنج والسيميوليشن وتقسم برضو نفس التقسيمه؟
طبعا، بس الرندرنج انت اللي الرندرنج اللي بتستخدمه هل هو SolidWorks rendering or you're asking about rendering from the platform? Because the 3D Experience platform has some rendering application, but also there is SolidWorks visualize rendering. So على أي تطبيق that أنت بتسأل حاليا؟
انا قصدي على سوليد وركس ريندرنج.
يعني SolidWorks visualize تقصد yeah
yes.
same thing. طبعا هذا السؤال كلش جيد لأنه 3D Experience SolidWorks Professional and Premium يجي مع SolidWorks Visualize Connected. يعني مع التطبيق مع ال 3D يعني لما انت تشتري the 3D Experience SolidWorks Professional or Premium يجي معاه SolidWorks Visualize Professional. and بعد البي دي ام yes اذا انت تخزن المعلومات على 3D Experience Platform you can open it into SolidWorks Visualize Connected and you can create revision and render it and save it back to the platform. And if someone make changes to the SolidWorks data, you can update it on Visualize as well. So yes, it doesn't make any difference. It's still بعد ال PDM, you can still do rendering and you can do simulation and everything that else that other than the rendering. Yeah.
ألف شكر.
عفوا.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
أعمل في مكتب في شركة صغيرة تصنع الرادياتورات خاصة بالسيارات. ثاني أفضل حاجة بعد كلاود ستورج، يعني غير متوفر عندنا. هي ثاني أفضل حاجة.
ما قدرت أسمع السؤال محمد أو عفوا مستر أندرسون. can you تقدر تعيد السؤال لأنه صوتك كان واضح؟ عفوا.
أوكي، ممكن إن
هو انا حاسس ان انا برضو مش سامع كويس.
مانيفاكتشر اوتوموبيل رادياتور.
Can you type the question even حتى لو بالعربي if you want to type it because there is some connection I can't. Okay. While Mr. Anderson is typing the question, is there anything other question that could be asked here?
انا الحقيقه انا عندي سؤالين.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
عايز اعرفها ويمكن انا بتسالها عندي دايما من الاي تي تيم.
IT team. Okay.
عن يعني احنا في بعض الحاجات في البوليسي عندنا بنمنع ان احنا نهوست الحاجات بتاعتنا على اوتسايد كلاود. فالسؤال الاول هنا هل السؤال الاول هو ازاي الداتا بتاعتي هتبقى سكيور؟ هل في اكسس ممكن يحصل ليها من اي حد تاني او لا؟ او ممكن يحصل يعني how secured is the data against حتى اي هاكينج او حاجه بالشكل ده. الحاجه الثانيه هل اقدر ان انا اهوست ده على لوكال سيرفر عندي او لا؟ الحاجه الثالثه يعني كمان ان احنا كتير بيبقى عندنا مشاكل انترنت، سبيشالي الانترنت ممكن اتليست عندنا في مصر مش احسن حاجه. ف how to overcome الchallenges دي. دول 3 حاجات كده.
حلو. أسئلة جميلة جدا. Let me answer them one by one. So As far as security, we are ISO certified, and I do not want to go into the detail of like what certification specifically that we are, which ISO that we certified. But as far as like security, DS is like, or the Dassault System pays a lot of attention to the security on the platform, even though it's a cloud, but it's ISO certified as secure. That's one thing. And there are some documentation. Maybe I can share it with you on the 3D Experience website. There are some article and there are certain link that you download to explain like what level of security and certification that the Dassault System follows today. السؤال الثاني بأنه you want to host your content or your on a different server. There is, so today 3D Experience SolidWorks, unfortunately, the 3D Experience SolidWorks specifically, it's a cloud-based. But the source system by itself, like the platform, has something called on-premise or a private cloud, which is basically we give you the API and everything else, and then you would be able to use it to host it on whatever AWS, whatever server that you have. But that's not going to be for a 3D Experience SolidWorks. If you are using SolidWorks, because there is something maybe I didn't talk about. There is SolidWorks Desktop, but there is SolidWorks with the connector. So you can just buy the connector piece to connect it to SolidWorks, and that piece specifically that gives you the platform, it is available on premise where you can actually host your own. So it's available, but not with the 3D Experience SolidWorks. 3D Experience SolidWorks is a cloud only. It's not available on a premise, is not available on the cloud. And there was like a third or fourth question. Internet bandwidth in الشرق الأوسط or North Africa. Yes. This actually question not only comes from you as actually, we hear it also from India as well with bandwidth and network issue. This is why we have the offline mode. So the offline mode is the solution, but of course, when you work offline, you lose the concept of collaboration. So that's why if you are in an area that you know the internet's going to be weak, there is like some connection problem, this is where you do offline, then you can continue working, but everything is going to be stored locally. But here's the thing, when you store the stuff locally, you don't lose the PLM information. It's still going to be on your local cache. Once you have a better internet connection, you can sync your changes, just like what I showed in that workflow. When I locked it, I did not lose that lock. Someone else, when they open it with an internet connection, they would be able to see that component is locked. But of course, you lose the concept of like the big value of the collaboration. You lose it because of the internet connection. And I think this happens a lot in an area where the bandwidth is not good. That it's a valid question, yeah. But the solution, all what I can say, taking the license and work offline until you have a better internet connection, because most of the time you probably use a lot of design stuff. Designing itself does not need an internet connection. It's saving the data to the platform, making a revision, using the PLM, creating task that requires an internet, a good bandwidth in order to do that. But yeah, to me, that the answer would be using the offline is the alternative until you have a better connection. Yeah. I hope I can answer your question. Yeah.
Well done. Yes. Thank you.
مازن عنده سؤال ثاني. Another question, how can we implement supply chain? Supply chain, is it a third-party supply chain or like the supply chain tool that's available on the platform? Because this is something I might not be the right person to answer, but I can take it. I can get back to you because there are solutions that Innovia provide today. Innovia is another brand, basically, on the 3D Experience platform. They have all the supply chain and other other tools to implement. As far as the integration, if it's your own solution to integrate it with the cloud, I don't think that is possible. This is where, just like what Mohammed mentioned, that you might need some on-private or on-premise to integrate your own specific supply chain. It might not be a straightforward solution in that case. It may be requires some extra work. Yeah. I don't know if there is supply chain on the platform. Yeah, it depends, because the concept of supply chain is big. So it depends of what portion of the supply chain. But I think there is some supply chain, because the platform has a lot of solution. And this, as I said, like this could be a question that I need to ask Innovia, like what level of supply chain is available on the 3D Experience platform. I know that Mr. Anderson has a question. Okay, what is the second best option for offline to truck? Second best option, truck 0. I don't know what to truck V0 V0.2. I'm not clear. I'm not really understanding the question here. Sorry. I need some more explanation to that. Muhammad, do you understand what is that question is? What is the second best option for offline to truck V? Oh, you're saying if you are in an offline mode, how can you achieve creating revision 1 and 2 and 3? That's what it means. V.0.1 V02. I was assuming this is the question. Yeah, there is no if you are in offline mode, the concept of revisioning is not available at that point, because it requires the platform to do that. The only way to start revisioning and maturing the product, it would be with the platform. That's a good question. There is no solution. There is no offline revisioning for when you are working in the cloud. But by the way, that's not an issue also with us. Any other cloud solution that has if you're on the cloud, if you want to do revisioning, I don't think there is a mechanism today to do it with offline. That's why basically this is where the concept of PDM is a local. SolidWorks PDM gives you the ability to do offline revisioning, because it's stored on your local machine, it's not on the cloud. Okay. For local server host, maybe that would be possible. Yeah, I don't have the answer, sorry, off the top of my head. If you can do it on a local host server, it could be possible, yeah. But for on cloud, for 3D Experience SolidWorks, that's not possible. But this is a very good question. Yeah, PDM, yes. One thing I would like to add here, in Mohammed, I think you are familiar with this. Every SolidWorks has 3D Experience SolidWorks or the cloud. There is a different release we call functional delivery. Every 3 months, we release a new version, new upgrade. So this recent release, which is 2024 FD3, which most of you guys know it as a 2024 like SP3, we released an integration where with the 3D Experience SolidWorks, you can connect your PDM. So you have the flexibility to use the cloud PDM data management, which is available with you with 3D Experience SolidWorks, but also you can connect your you can connect your SolidWorks PDM, and that would give you the ability to do the revisioning locally. Maybe that would be another, but again, if you are using the PDM, I would not recommend to mix between the two. You either use a PDM with SolidWorks or using the data management on the cloud, because you do not want to duplicate the same data on the platform and on the local PDM server. I would recommend, if you're going to be doing revision with PDM, then stick with PDM, unless if you have a separate project that you would like to utilize on the platform, then I would recommend the platform. But that's a very good question. Yeah. Yeah, إذا في عندكم أي استفسار سؤال, you can give it to Muhammad, directly text me. I'll try to manage this question. If it's going to be a lot, I will work with Muhammad to see how we can better handle it,
I can see that there are a lot of questions already.
Okay. And the session is recorded, right? So if anyone who didn't have the chance to see it, they can go back and review it. And I'm happy to help, with the best I can. Yeah.
Okay, and I think we can still manage to have another meeting for a more detailed presentation, right?
Inshallah, see if the time allows and permits, we can do that. Yeah. And if there is any specific topic that you want the team to present, because I have my colleagues, they focus on the SolidWorks cloud. Like if you have في حد عنده interest the X design, X shape, let me know. We can coordinate something. I can see if they have time to present, but not only SolidWorks. If you have any interest in any other topic, and I think with Dan, he can socialize and he can network to see who would be the right fit to present.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so هل في حد عنده أي أسئلة حابب يسألها تاني للمهندس صالح؟
احنا تمام يا باشمهندس.
تمام. طيب طبعا أنا حابب أشكر حضرتك تاني على وجودك معانا النهاردة، وعلى السيشن الهايلة دي. أنا شخصيا يعني كنت مركز في معظم السيشن بقدر الإمكان، والمعلومات فعلا كانت بالنسبة لنا فعلا مفيدة جدا. أشكرك تاني لوقتك ولمجهودك ولوجودك معانا، وإن شاء الله تتكرر في مرات تانية كتير بإذن الله.
إن شاء الله. شكرا على الحضور، شكرا على استضافتي again. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا.
يلا تصبحوا على خير.
وانتم
يلا مع السلامة.
لكل الناس برضو اللي حاضرة معانا أونلاين، فلو في حد عنده أسئلة حتى المهندس صالح، أو عنده أي أسئلة بخصوص الجروب أو بخصوص أي حاجة، ممكن يسأل. في حالة إن مفيش أي أسئلة، فبنفكركم تاني إن الميتنج ده كان ريكوردد، وهيكون إن شاء الله available maybe within next 2 weeks. هيكون available على اليوتيوب channel إن شاء الله الخاصة بالجروب بتاعنا. شكرا ليكم، ونشوفكم تاني إن شاء الله في الميتنج بتاعنا اللي جاي. إن شاء الله هيكون الأسبوع اللي جاي إن شاء الله.
يلا مع السلامة. Thank you.
السلام عليكم.
شكرا.
السلام عليكم.